All right, all right, all right. All right, all right, all right. Let's go live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, all right, all right. Welcome back, Wayfarer. I hope you are doing well. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are, whoever you are, and whenever you may be receiving this transmission. Frank Monday coming at you from the central kingdom of the celestial dragon, Twilight Zone Old Peking. After 22 years of nightmare and terror, saved only by the desperate conviction of the mythical source of certain impressions, I'm unwilling to vouch for the truth of that which I think I found in Western Australia on the night of July 17th and 18th, 1935. There is reason to hope that my experience was wholly or partly an hallucination, for which indeed abundant causes existed. And yet its realism was so hideous that I sometimes find hope impossible. If the thing did happen, then man must be prepared to accept notions of the cosmos and of his own place in the seething vortex of time, whose merest mention is paralyzing. He must, too, be placed on guard against a specific lurking peril, which, though it will never engulf the whole race, may impose monstrous and unguessable horrors upon certain venturesome members of it. It is for this latter reason that I urge with all the force of my being a final abandonment of all attempts at unearthing those fragments of unknown primordial masonry which my expedition set out to investigate. Assuming that I was sane and awake, my experience on that night was such as has befallen no man before. It was, moreover, a frightful confirmation of all I had sought to dismiss as myth and dream. Mercifully, there is no proof, for in my fright I lost the awesome object that would, if real and brought out of that noxious abyss, have formed irrefutable evidence. When I came upon the horror, I was alone, and I have up to now told no one about it. I could not stop the others from digging in its direction, but chance and the shifting sand have so far saved them from finding it. Now I must formulate some definitive statement, not only for the sake of my own mental balance, but to warn such others as may read it seriously. All right, all right, all right. Let's get at it, guys. Quick shout out to Frater Sal Smith. Once again, thank you, dear sir, for your kind gift of the heart, your contribution to the channel. That keeps the lead in my pencil, pep in my step. And I in return, am keeping my nose to the grindstone. I'm going an extra show this week just for you, amigo. It's 100-day challenge, Way of the Psyonic Agent. We're going to do short hypnotic induction here in a minute. Just go ahead and make sure that you hit the like button, guys, and get it done. Like and subscribe, all that happy horse shit that makes YouTube's algorithms bark like Pavlov's dog. Check me out on buymeacoffee.com/Frank Monday. Adoration of Abraxas. If you know it, say it with me. Holy art thou, Lord of the universe, the vast and the mighty one, creator of heaven and earth, maker of all things visible and invisible, master of both the light and the darkness, he who was, is, and shall be. We adore thee and we invoke thee. Send us one of your divine spiritual agents, our holy guardian angel, to protect and guide us through the innumerable snares of the earthly sphere, and a cleansing wind to disperse all negativity and endless human opinion. Teach us those secret things which we must know for the completion of the great work and the glory of thine ineffable name, Adonai. So it is commanded and confirmed. So mote it be. Amen. Hail unto thee who art raw in thy rising, even unto thee who art raw in thy strength, who travellest over the heavens at the uprising of the sun. Tahuti standeth in his splendor at the prow, and Ra Horkoit abideth at the helm. Hail unto thee from the abodes of the night. Remember, O neophyte, goodness alone is power, silence is strength, will regaineth omnipotence, and love lieth at the foundation. I hope you're doing well this evening, Wayfarer. We're going to do a little assist for the 33rd day of the 100-day challenge. We are 1/3 the way through. So go ahead and settle in. Get yourself into a comfortable position. You might like to close your eyes for this segment of the broadcast. I invite you to take a deep breath in. Hold it for 3, 2, 1. Gently exhale. And as you allow yourself to continue natural, rhythmic, deep, diaphragmatic breathing, allow yourself to become more present, more aware of this special moment dedicated just to you. This is a time for inward exploration and a journey into the elements of ritual that can empower your life. Go ahead and take another deep breath in all the way down into the body, feeling the coolie breeze coming in through the nostrils. In, hold, and as you let it out, feel any tension in your body begin to dissolve. Let your shoulders drop, your jaw relax, and your mind open. With each natural rhythmic breath, you're entering a deeper state of calm, tranquil bliss, a serene space where you can explore your inner world. Now, imagine, if you would, a warm, comforting light surrounding you, cocooning you in safety and peace. This light represents the energy of intention, illuminating your path as you delve into the essence of ritual. As you breathe this light in, feel it filling your lungs, spreading warmth throughout your body. And with each inhalation, you draw in clarity and focus. Each exhalation, you release any distractions. In a calm, tranquil, relaxed state, I invite you to begin counting down from 10 to 1. With each number, feel yourself sinking deeper into tranquility, enveloped in calm, relaxing energy. 10, feeling safe and grounded. 9, deeper and deeper into calm, relaxed tranquility. 8, letting go of the outside world now, letting all sounds only deepen your relaxation. 7, going down further, more with every breath. 6, drifting off into a calm, relaxed state, free of distraction. 5, halfway there, fully present, deeper still, and relaxed. 4, at this point, you might like to lift your shoulders or arms a little bit and then let them drop down. And when you do, sink even deeper into your relaxed state. 3, almost there now, getting closer. 2, surrendering to peace and tranquility. 1, fully relaxed now, your mind open and receptive. Now, in this tranquil state, I invite you to visualize a beautiful space, a sanctuary where rituals come to life. Picture a serene environment that feels sacred to you, perhaps a quiet room, a lush garden, or a peaceful forest clearing. This is your personal space for exploration. Whichever you choose, envision yourself in the environment, all of the various imagery that can reinforce this, the sounds around you, sensations, sights, smells. As you stand in this sanctuary, take a moment to notice all of these things and the cardinal hermetic elements of earth, air, water, and fire, each component plays a vital role in creating an effective ritual. We'll explore deeper the various aspects of ritual work that can aid you. Number one, timing. Begin to focus on the concept of timing, kairos. Imagine the rhythm of nature, the flow of day into night, the changing of seasons, the ticking of that ancient four-armed grandfather clock out in the wooden hall of your villa. Timing is not just the swinging of that pendulum. It's about aligning with natural cycles that resonate with your intentions. You might like to picture yourself standing at the dawn of a new day, the sun rising gently over the horizon. This moment represents new beginnings, a perfect time to set intentions. Visualize how the setting of your ritual can enhance its power. Now, consider what times in your life feel most significant. There are moments where you feel more connected to your purpose. Perhaps it's the quiet of early morning or the stillness of night, or any quiet, disturbance-free opportunity throughout the day. Allow these insights to surface as you embrace the power of timing in your rituals, and know that in the mystic moment, apotheum or time dilation can occur, and you can find yourself in a timeless homeland of tranquility and deep, fathomless power. Next, I want you to focus on number two, ritual space. Imagine the sanctuary you've created expanding around you, transforming into a place that feels just right for your rituals. Notice all of the colors and shapes and textures, the sounds that make this space uniquely yours. As you create this astral temple, think about what elements resonate with you. Do you prefer natural materials like wood and stone, or perhaps soft fabrics and soothing scents? You can picture yourself arranging the space just the way you like it, adding elements that hold meaning for you, candles or gas lamps to symbolize light, crystal spheres or crystals of any kind, or other various elements to represent energy, fresh flowers or paintings, gorgeous auras or murals to represent beauty, sculptuary. Each item enhances the sacredness of your ritual, creating a personalized atmosphere that nurtures your intentions. Next, we can shift our attention to number three. We can shift our focus to number three, intention. Let's move to the core of any ritual, the Volantic principle, the intent. In Chinese, we call it Yi Dao, Qi Dao, Xue Xing. Your intention is the heartbeat of the ritual, the energy that drives it forward. You might visualize it as a bright light emanating from your heart center, representing your deepest desires and aspirations. As you focus on this light, allow it to expand, filling your entire being. Feel the warmth of your intention radiating outwards, infusing the space around you. You might like to ask yourself, what do I truly wish to cultivate in my life? Is it love, abundance, healing, spiritual power, mental clarity? Let this question resonate within you and take a moment to embrace the feelings associated with your intention. Number four, action. Rituals are not just about thoughts, they require you to take action. Picture yourself engaging in meaningful activities that align with your innermost intentions. This could be the lighting of a candle, writing in your journal, or performing a movement that feels right for you. Imagine the actions you take are to reinforce your intentions and to subtly shift this, to gently shift, gradually change the subtle environments, like ripples in the pond. Each step is a commitment to your desires, a way of saying to yourself, I'm ready to embrace the change necessary to bring about the fruition of these intentions. As you visualize these actions, take any small action, feel the empowerment that they bring. Number 5 is about reflection. Consider the element of reflection. After your ritual, it's vital that you take time to reflect on your experience. Picture yourself sitting quietly in your sanctuary, allowing the energy of your ritual to settle within you. This is the paucism section, right? If we look through the last 3 focus points, intention, action, and reflection, we have volantia, decreeism, and paucism. Ask yourself at this point, what did I learn? How do I feel? What shifts have occurred in me and my subtle environment? This reflection is a crucial part of the process. It's allowing the magic to return to you, bringing you the fruition and the gift of your magic, allowing you to integrate these energies and insights that you gained during the ritual. Next, I'd like to discuss creating your personal ritual elements. Now that we've explored the key components of ritual, I invite you to create a list of personal ritual elements. In your mind, you can visualize a beautiful scroll or journal page ready to capture your thoughts. Or if you have paper and pen handy, take a moment to reflect on each element that we discussed: timing, space, intention, action, and reflection. Consider what resonates most deeply with you. For the first aspect, kairos, right, timing, what are the most significant times in your life? Which parts of the day can you allocate to ritual work? Which times during the day seem to give you the most energy and peace of mind? Take a moment to consider this question and write about timing. Its Latin name is kairos. What are the most important times of the day for you? Is it the early morning hours before anyone else wakes up? Is it during the afternoon nap time when you can go through the hypnagogic state into dreamland and explore? Next up is the idea of space. Here, I want you to consider, what does your ideal ritual space look like? When you're building your internal astral temple, what elements do you want to include? Go ahead and take a moment to contemplate this. You might want to pause the transmission and write things down in your journal. When you're ready, move on to the next one. Number 3, intention. Think about your magical intents. What are your core aspirations, desires, and anything that you want to bring more into your life of, right? Is it more money so that you can help the people around you with greater security? Is it better health, so that you can enjoy your energy throughout the day more? Maybe it's something as simple as upgrading your wardrobe so that you have the right items of clothing that will make you feel comfortable and professional and help you in your work. Maybe it's a new vehicle to get to and from various destinations that can offer you the opportunity of greater empowerment. Take a moment now to write down some of your ideas considering what your core desires are. I like to make myself what's called a magical wish list. I call it Aladdin's lamp magical wish list. And I write it on a small, maybe 2x1 piece of paper. Take a regular sheet of printer paper and fold it over until I get a small booklet. And then I'll put some magical sigils on it and I'll number it 1, 2, 3. And I'll keep this in my pocket all day long with 3 magical wishes that I want to fulfill. I look at it as many times as I can throughout the day. Anytime I want, I contemplate it. I imagine the magic coming to fruition and bringing me those things which I can use to empower my life for the benefit of myself and my neighbor, my fellow man, my family, my community. Intention. When you're done writing about intention, let's move on to number 4, action. So what specific actions do you take to embody the manifestation of your magical operations? For example, in the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, we practice the lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram. You can adapt the pentagram ritual in many different ways. You can do the greater hexagram ritual. You can do the septagram ritual. You can do all different types of rituals to empower yourself. Chinese martial arts is another way to get it done. Some people enjoy yoga. Others like reciting prayers. All of these are small actions you can take for the manifestation of your goals. Take a moment to consider now and write down in your journal what specific actions will you take to embody your intentions. This is the decreic moment. It's when you decree, abracadabra, and command things into being. Was it not in the Bible, in the story of Job, where the birds brought him food, and that Jesus counseled us later on in the New Testament that why should you worry when the birds and bees and all of the animals of the land are fed and taken care of and clothed and housed with no effort on their own part, really, right? They just follow the natural way. So think about those actions that you can take to make things naturally appear for you in this cosmos of great abundance. When you're done writing about number 4, actions, take a moment to move on to number 5, reflection. Reflection represents the paucism or the receptive part of the ritual work. And here, consider how will you create time for reflection after your rituals? Is it just some downtime to meditate? Or possibly you can make records in your magical journal. You could go out for a walk in the natural environment. Or you could even take a nap and wait for dreamland to bring you flashes and signs. It's up to you. But at this point, I'd like you to consider and take a moment to write about number 5, reflection. Finally, when you're ready and you pondered these questions, allow your thoughts to flow freely. You might choose to jot down words, phrases, or images that come to mind. There's no right or wrong here. Simply let your creativity blossom. Write a little bit about each of the elements of good ritual work: timing, space, intention, action, and reflection. Hey, looks like we have a visitor out in Happy Land. Good to see you once again, Mary at Sea Level. I hope you are doing well. Today I'm discussing a little bit of impromptu live stream for the 100-day challenge, Way of the Psyonic Agent, and I'm currently discussing ritual work. Next, I'd like to talk a little bit about empowering your rituals. As you continue to visualize your magical wish list. Feel the empowerment that comes from creating your personal ritual elements. Each item holds the potential to transform your life, guiding you toward your desires and aspirations. Now, if you like, take a moment to affirm your commitment to incorporating these rituals into your daily life. You might say to yourself, I honor my timing. I create my sacred space. I embrace my intentions. I take inspired action, and I reflect on my journey. Feel the strength of these affirmations resonating within you, reinforcing your dedication to this practice. Each time you engage in your personal rituals, you are affirming your power and plotting your path forward. In a moment, I'll count from 1 to 5. With each count, you will begin to return to the present moment, bringing with you the clarity and empowerment you have cultivated in this session. When you're ready, start returning to the waking world. 1, slowly coming back, feeling refreshed. Deep breath and relax. Number 2, becoming aware of your surroundings, the sounds and energy in your present area. 3, feeling the energy returning to the body, up from the earth, down from the heavens. Go ahead and stretch. 4, gently feeling alive. 5, eyes open, fully alert, and embracing your journey. Welcome back, Wayfarer. You've taken an important step in understanding the element of ritual work today and how they can empower your life. Remember, you can revisit the serene space and these insights whenever you choose, nurturing your intentions and honoring your path forward. Good magic, aspirant. I hope you enjoyed this brief hypnotic transmission for ritual work. With no further ado, we will transition into the next part of the show. I'm going to go ahead and drop the link. If anybody wants to stop by and say hello, there it is there. Old Frank Monday, Grand Wizard of the Esoteric Order of Dagon, your friend and well-wisher. A little shout out to Frater Sal Smith, dropping big coin over at the Buy Me a Coffee page. Thank you for that, beloved. And thank you to everyone who participates in the channel, leaves comments, hits the like button, all that happy horse shit that makes YouTube's algobots bark like Pavlov's dog. This is another installment on the 100-day challenge, Way of the Psyonic Agent. I personally am in week 4, ritual work. You can find the syllabus over at buymeacoffee.com, guys. And it's a wonderful thing. It's a free thing that I offer. You don't have to make any coffee purchase. But a one-time $5 coffee purchase will get you lifetime access to the site. And that'll make you a member of the Esoteric Order of Dagon. So that's a wonderful thing, too. I'd like to reiterate the message, guys, that I'm trying to drive this channel to 1,000 subs. So if you can, sub a video, sub a friend, share a video, secretly sub your grandma, whatever. Just keep doing good magic, right? Let's get that up there. We're at 787 last time I checked. So we're still just a little over 200 away from that threshold. Hopefully I can get it done in 2025, right? I'm working my ass off to try. I'm doing 2, 3, sometimes 4 transmissions a week. As always, open lines for paranormal encounters, guys. If you've had a paranormal encounter and you'd like to talk about it, this is the place to get it done, man. There's nothing I like more than a good story of the paranormal, whether it be Twilight Zone or whatever, man. Black Mirror, whatever you've got going on, man. Love to hear all about it. So go ahead and hit that link, tap in and tap out and get involved. Yes, indeed. See what else we got going on here today, guys. Miss Mary Moon, how are you doing, by the way? Oh, yeah, she says she's cleaning But listening, hands are messy. Yeah, no worries, man. That's an open call to anybody and everybody who's out there. As I said earlier, if you're around for a bit and you'd like to chat about today's topic, that would be awesome. It says I got some media assets playing, but I can't hear the music, man. Okay, there it is. Now I can hear that background music. That helps me a little bit, I think, from having to feel like I need to talk just nonstop, because I find that a little bit annoying. I'm going to throw up the coffee data right there again, guys, and I'm going to let you know about some of the questions I'd like to ask about today's guided transmission, right? Like number one, for example, here we'll go with this question. It's about personal experience. So I'd like to know what personal rituals have you found most meaningful in your life and why? If you tuned into the transmission yesterday, Caged Reality came by and he brought a video about tea ceremony, and that was a wonderful treat, right? It was kind of a big deal. We went through a pretty good portion of it. I think it was like a 45-minute video, but we went through some of that, and we talked about how tea ceremony can be a form of spiritual cultivation. Yeah, so get yourself a tasty beverage and sit back and relax. Take a deep breath in. Oh, and then let go of any tension or anxiety or anything that's holding you back, right? Make yourself uninhibited for today's transmission. It's going to be good magic, guys. I'm glad you're here with me. I can appreciate that. We also discussed another aspect of ritual work, which I refer to by its Latin name, Kairos. So for Kairos, or timing, I'd like to ask, how do you determine the best time for your ritual work? Are there any specific times of the day or seasons that resonate with you? I've noticed that my energy shifts throughout the seasons. And so in winter, I have a certain kinds of rituals that I like to do. And then in spring, summer, and autumn, it all shifts a little bit. Like I find there are certain times of the year when I can definitely like write more in my journals and write more on my stories. And then I find there are times of year where the mind just goes completely blank with writer's block. And no matter how hard I try, I just can't get anything knocked out. So I just leave it alone at that point and do more outdoor activity. There are different influences of the starry heavens that shift our energy levels, right? The cycles of the moon and its movement through the 12 zodiacal houses. Of course, the great shift of the zodiac throughout the year. Right now, we're currently in Taurus. So we have the sun has moved into Taurus, and Miss Mary Moon probably knows where our moon is at. She said it was a Scorpio moon the other day, but that was quite a few days ago, so it's probably not there anymore. Where's our lunar cycle got us today, Mary? If you got a free hand to type, but you said your hands are messy, so yeah. Wow, nice. That's good magic right there. We're in a little bit of a Pisces moon. I was kind of feeling it today. I got they tried to lure me into like this thing during my lunch break, and I kind of felt some personal power, and I declined from doing it, and I received kind of a reprimand from the leaders a little bit. And they were like, that was requisite. You're supposed to go to that thing. I think they're going to try to dock me some pay too, and that's not cool. But it is what it is, I'm going to get out my contract and look over the fine print. And it seems that the only time I'm required actually to do anything like that is when I'm on the clock. And you can't demand like in my off hours to attend that kind of thing. But that wasn't the way it went down anyway. Like they told me 5 minutes before lunch that they were having this impromptu gathering and that my presence was requested. And then when I consulted with a colleague, they mentioned that it was optional. And so I had an important lunchtime appointment phone call that I had to take. And after I had that conversation, it was kind of pressing stuff going on, you know. Then I totally, it slipped my mind, to be honest. I just forgot. I outright forgot that was going on. And so I'm not going to sweat it, you know. I don't think they should sweat it either. But they kind of sweated it. They kind of came at me with hairy, sweaty balls and are like, yeah, where were you? I was like, what do you mean? Where was I? Where were you? You know how that shit goes. All right, next question I want to consider is about your personal ritual space. Now, here's the thing about this, guys. You don't actually have to establish like a physical space. That's why I made so many videos on building your astral temple, right? So if you remember the work I was doing with Frater Thomas Sund last year, we did hypnoapotheosis, and we did pathways of the Magi, and we did a whole 100-day challenge on the tarot. So if you recall some of the lessons we did in that, Thomas taught us how to do self-hypnosis, and then I brought forward the astral travel into an astral temple with guided visualizations through meditation to do that inner path working to build that temple. So what elements do you include in your ritual work, and like what type of space do you generate? Do you access the astral temple or dreamland or the timeless homeland, the invisible college with the secret chiefs? What type of good magic are you up to, and how do these elements enhance your experience? So after we considered the ritual space, then as part of the induction, I talked about the Aladdin's Lamp magical wish list. You can actually find a really cool little book on this called It Works by, I used to have a banner for it. Let me see if I still got that banner on my list here. No, it looks like I removed it. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's by like RHJ. It's a little audio book. You can find it on the YouTube channel, The Master Key Society. And it's just called It Works. That's the 2 words. That's a wonderful little document on how, I think it's only like 20 pages long or something. You can listen to it in audio form. So it ends up being like 20 or 30 minutes. But it's a wonderful, like, new spirit type information from like 100 years ago. I think it was probably written in the 1920s or something, maybe 1930s. But it talks all about how you can articulate your intentions during ritual, and to have specific affirmations or phrases or maxims that you use in order to achieve this. Like one I say every morning is just a really simple one by Marcus Aurelius. I say, wake up each day and get out of bed and just, hands up to the heavens and thank God for being reawakened again, resurrected and brought back to life. and the opportunity to think and breathe and feel and love and create and engage, travel, you know, all of those wonderful things that having a human body in the prime material plane make available to you. Of course, I do Liber Resh Helios, which is the four adorations to the Egyptian pantheon. I do a lot of Taoist invocations, right? The invocation of total integration and a few others, specific ones like if I've had a nightmare, a frightening nightmare, you know, a prediction about the future or something, prophetic dreams sometimes that are frightening. Then I'll do a ritual to disperse the negative energy. So it's up to you guys, man. Your level of involvement. You know, how much do you want to do? How much magic can you handle in a day? Because for me, it's 24/7, man. It's from the moment I wake up until every moment throughout the day, and until I go to sleep, and then all throughout the evening in dreamland, I'm up to ritual work. Every single action is a ritual. Like I scratched my knee just now, and I thought about my physical body becoming stronger and healthier and more robust. Whatever you hold in the mind is what you become, right? So let your thoughts be of pure creative intention, beneficial to yourself and others. Eliminate negative self talk entirely, right? Just get rid of it. There's this one gal at the office. She's a Gemini and she loves to gossip. Oh my God, she wants to gossip about everybody. And I find it interesting too. Like, gossip is one of the most powerful stimulants for the human mind. Remember, I call it the Jerry Springer effect here on YouTube. And when we get in these big panel chats, right, people love that shit. I went back and I watched yesterday's videos, 4 hours long. Good God, what a show, huh? What a thing. Really a big deal. And I enjoyed it. Billy Wayne, whatever, Hayward, or he was on the show. Caged Reality, he was there for about an hour. The lizard gal, she showed up, flicking her tongue in and out a little bit, right? Flopping around like a fish out of water. Her friend Ricardo Sunshine was there, you know, so everybody was in the house. I don't know what these people's intentions are, but it seemed like good fun, right? So what actions do you find most effective? Another thing I'd like to take a moment to consider is the idea of the receptive mood of, like, actually allowing yourself to be open for your magic to work, holding faith in the mind, the idea of being completely receptive to what the cosmos has to offer you. And when I move into this phase, the reflection phase of my ritual work, I like to I like to consider the absolute endlessly abundant nature of the cosmos, right? We've got these unbeknownst to us starry forces above in the celestial dome just radiating out tons of endless energy, right? We don't know how far away those things are. I've been out under a dark midnight sky and I've seen the stars of the celestial dome come right down into the immediate heavens above me, like almost close enough that I could just reach out and grab one. I've seen um, celestial entities roaming among the empty spaces of dark matter between those night lights, right? I've seen the moon floating low in the clouds, well within the Earth's atmosphere. And you may not know this, but that's a scientific fact that the moon is within the Earth's atmosphere, right? It's within the celestial dome. It's right there. It's a local thing, and the sun as well, man. These things in the mystic moment, they go beyond your uh, ordinary scientific material perceptions, and they're right there. Yeah, get at it, Mary. Good to see you. I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you for stopping by, and do good magic at Astra per Aspera, Mary. Much love to you. I miss seeing you out there in Happy Land. It's funny, me and Mary, we met way back on the coast to coast radio transmission. I visited it a couple of times, and I ended up stop going to coast to coast. It seems like they stopped doing regular transmissions here on YouTube. And so I met a bunch of folks over there in the early days. I was trying to encourage people to come over to the Frank Monday channel for an after party. And a bunch of good folks showed up, man. Some of them stopped by from time to time. Nunu, right? That Atlantean traveler from ancient Lemuria. Real to Real. He's a good guy that stops by from time to time. Free Gift from God, right? He's a guy we picked up about halfway along the journey. Miss Mary Moon, Callie Karen, Monsieur Tiedrick, right? The alligator rider down in Miami with his jug of Triple X whiskey, eating his fricasseed alligator tail. Who else was there? There was a bunch of good folks. Seems like there was a couple of other gals too that used to stop by, but I can't recall their names at this point. If they show up, I'll remember who they are, though. Chris A. I don't know if you guys ever met Chris A., but he stops by from time to time. Lots of different folks, man, that I've crossed paths with. They're all a part of the Frank Monday story, the Frank Monday timeline. Good magic, man. What a thing. What a treat. What a wonderful thing to be able to get on here and socialize with you guys from time to time. The next thing I'd like you to think about in your ritual work are some of the challenges that you face, right? Because there are obstacles, right? I think it was Arnold Schwarzenegger. Arnold Schwarzenegger, I'll be back, California, as your governor, round 2. He said that pushing it up against hard weights are what forms that perfect Olympian body, right? He was Mr. Olympia 7 times in a row. What a thing, right? You know, when I was a kid, me and my brother were out at Venice Beach where those bodybuilders would work out on the beach, and we saw Arnold Schwarzenegger give a public talk about building strength. And he pointed at my brother and he looked out in the crowd and he said, "You there, little boy, do you want to become a real man like me?" He said, "Every night when you go home, as you fall asleep, tell yourself to get pumped, to pump it up. And then when you wake up in the morning, do your push-ups and pump up your body. You will grow into a real beautiful man." And I was like, oh my God, it was the funniest fucking thing. The crazy thing is my brother believed him. And every night we'd go home and my brother would say, "Yeah, remember Schwarzenegger told us you could grow, you could grow taller and stronger by just thinking about it as you go to sleep at night." And I was like, that's bullshit, man. There's nothing to that. And my brother believed it, and he did it every fucking night for years. And he ended up growing in like 6'2", right? 180, 89, 88 or whatever centimeters tall, 200 pounds. By the time he was 16, he had a full beard, and he was bench pressing 325 pounds, right? By the time he was 18, he was doing like 425. He had 18-inch fucking arms, and he could fight. He was still limber. He could do the splits. He rode a bike. He loved to swim. He did kung fu. I mean, he really absorbed Schwarzenegger's message, and he probably could have been a Mr. Olympia, just like Arnold. I didn't buy it though, and as a result, I only got to 5'10" and 150 pounds. So I guess I should have believed him. And I should have gone home and done that good magic. Ricardo Sunshine's in the house, man. Good looking out. Good to see you again, amigo. We're doing another transmission 2 days in a row. Kind of a thing, right? Kind of a big deal. It's more than I usually like to do. It's already getting into the late wee hours of the evening. So I'm probably only going to be able to go a couple of hours tonight. Ricardo Sunshine says that he likes to light incense regularly to purify his space. Good magic. I like to hear it, Ricardo. I do the old Nag Champa, sandalwood, sometimes some sage. Sometimes I'll go really big and I'll get out like the iron brazier, is that what it's called? And then I'll put the charcoal, the self-firing charcoal islets in the middle, and then I'll pile on frankincense. And that's when I go with like a big smothering, man, when I'm doing like a big magic ritual. I'll get out the big money with the frankincense and myrrh and summon the spirit of the Lord. I don't always need to do that though. Maybe once a year, like around Yuletide. Sometimes I should probably do it around my birthday too. I didn't do it this year though, man. Don't know why. Got busy with other things, I guess. Good to see you though, Ricardo. Man, I was having a nice little conversation with you last night. You like to keep things focused on the up and up. If you've got any spare time or energy to do it, man, jump on here and we'll banter back and forth. It's always a little more interesting than listening to old Frank Monday fucking monologue for hours at a time. And it's just plain exhausting too. Good God, how exhausting was it with Billy last night, man? That guy's like fucking herding cats. He's fun though, man. I love Billy. He don't get no love here on the internet. There's a lot of people out there that can't handle a guy that's, middle-aged and whiskey drunk all the time. But I can appreciate that. I got nothing but love for Billy. But I got to be careful with him because he got me a strike on my channel. He got me a community strike last time I let him up. I don't remember what happened. Like he whipped out his dick or something. But he was fucking monkeying around and got me in trouble. And that strike won't expire until like June something, middle of June. So I got to watch out for that. Sometimes people do that, man. Like maybe they don't do it intentionally. Maybe it's just accidental. I don't know. But that does happen from time to time. So you got to be wary of that. All right, I got a couple more questions here for you guys. What about like sharing your ritual work? Sometimes it's not appropriate to like talk about your private spiritual cultivation with other people, but are you ever willing to share specific rituals that you've created? And if so, what are the components and how has it impacted you? Like I've leveled up all of my astral temple ritual work with like the casting of the circle and like being in the presence of God and stuff like that. Like it builds up over time, man. It really is a cumulative kind of thing. Like with Kung Fu practice, I think we discussed this yesterday. You don't be afraid of the guy who knows 10,000 kicks, right? That's done 10,000 kicks one time. It's the guy that's done one kick 10,000 times, right? So this repetition of things, like that's what Kung Fu means in the Chinese language. It's actually Gong Fu. And we have an expression that really kind of mirrors Kung Fu to a greater extent. We say, 就要功夫深，铁杵能谋成真. So let me type it out for you guys so you can reference it if you need. 就要功夫深. 对. And then the next sentence is 铁杵谋成真. Yeah, there it is there, man. I love modern computers, man. They can help you find your Chinese characters really easy. So this Chinese expression says, if your Kung Fu is strong enough, you can turn an iron bar into a needle, into a sewing needle. So the imagery here in this maxim is taking like a slate of like a piece of iron and then rubbing it on a sharpening stone until you've taken the entire iron bar and whittled it down to a perfectly honed needle, like a sewing needle or an acupuncture needle or whatever, you get the idea. But it says if you practice Kung Fu long enough, you can do this. Yeah, no worries, man. Get your shit done. I was just putting the offer out there. Good to see you nonetheless. Thanks for stopping by. And I can appreciate that, man. A counseling session. That sounds wonderful. Is that therapy or are you doing the counseling? Are you being counseled? That sounds quite interesting. I really appreciate counseling and therapy. I think that everybody should have a fucking therapist, especially if you're practicing magic, because you need someone to reflect on and get the feedback necessary to make sure that you're not fucking going crazy, right? To assume that you're sane and awake, and that it's not wholly or partly a hallucination. Yeah, I got a couple more questions here I'd like to share with you guys. If I don't see the problem is like when I have time to get on YouTube for the Western world, it's like either the middle of the night or first thing in the morning, and so nobody really has the energy to interact at that point, which is all right. Like I get on the internet when I get home from work and I check things out, and I see that most people are shutting down their live streams. You know, they're done. They've already gone 8 to 10 hours, and they're done. Yeah, that's nice, Ricardo. That's good to hear, man. Um, I think a therapist is important. Yeah, a psychotherapist. Reflect too, like reflect on what is going on. Try to think about it critically. Um, Engage in some of your own personal therapy as well, like with self hypnosis and meditation and positive affirmations. And I think one of the biggest things that hobble people and inhibit them is negative self talk. And when an individual, anyone, you, me, the other guy, can start to eliminate the negative self talk and reprogram the mind with positive affirmations, that fucking does so much. You really go a long way. Um, I find that I have a lot of social anxiety, but I work in the public sphere. I've done stand up comedy, I've taught dance classes, I've done improv, like theater workshops. I've done huge language presentations in front of 500 or 1,000 university students. I've done corporate contracts where I've worked in Fortune 500 companies for doing so-called business English presentations. And I've been working in an academy for over a decade now at the high school level, right? Like senior high. And I'm always under a ton of fucking social anxiety when I have to give big presentations. And so my ritual work in overcoming that is number one, doing preparation, like not procrastinating, getting the PPTs in order, getting a script in order, covering some salient points and gathering the data, the statistical analysis, all of this. Once I get that all prepped up, then I just do self hypnosis. I say, take a deep breath, command yourself to relax, speak a little slower, because I often speak too quick. And most people do, especially here on YouTube. Like being a fast talker and having nonstop ideas coming at the listener seems to be like one of the things that all fucking YouTubers try to do. And it's horse shit. Nobody does that. Nobody just fucking monologues endlessly without any kind of break. That's just not realistic. Yeah, get it done, man. Get your counseling done. Work through any kind of childhood stuff and other shit, and get it out there on the table. Examine it, poke it with a fork, roll it over, slice it up with a knife. Do whatever you need to do to get that shit done. That's good magic right there. I really consider therapy and having a therapist to be a form of spiritual cultivation. Absolutely. One more thing I wanted to consider in this transmission about ritual work is what about new rituals or elements you'd like to explore in the future? How do you envision them fitting into your life? Right? And what's the difference between habit and ritual? It's kind of the mindful practice of things. You can make any kind of thing a ritual practice, right? But you have to be mindful about it. You have to bring forward the three aspects of the magician. You know them, don't you? All right, let me put them up here. Um, so from the Kybalion, we get mentalism, right? Number one, or Valantia, the intent, correspondence, or the decreic moment, And this is where the vibration comes forth, right? The speaking things into being, the abracadabra. And the essential formula from the Bible, ASK is what I call it, because it's ask, seek, and knock, right? ASK. It's all encoded in the first three letters, the Aleph, the Samach, and the Kaf, right? These are three Hebrew letters. Or in Latin, it would be Alpha, Sigma, and Kappa, right? Ask and you shall receive. Seek and ye shall find. Knock and it will be opened unto you. I mean, it's that easy. It really is. It really is. Let me create a new banner for the Latin terminology. Number one, hey, I still have it switched to Chinese, guys. Sorry about that. Volantia, or the wizard's will. All right. The or the magical intent. Number two is decreeism. The speaking of things into being. I essentially is just say it's abracadabra, right? Finally, number three, posism. The unperturbed, receptive state of allowing goals to come to fruition. I'm over my character limit. Okay, good enough then. I'll just leave it there. Unperturbed. There it is there. 98 characters. I'm allowed 200 on a banner. Add banner. Let's see if it works. Yeah, there you go. There it is there, guys. That's good magic right there. I didn't come across this. I believe this is Latin terminology until like maybe 10 years ago. And I was really excited when I found it. A guy wrote an article based on the teachings in the Hermetic Brotherhood of Luxor. In fact, I thought it was so important that I wrote the name on a banner a long time ago. So right here, the essential core teaching of Pascal Beverly Randolph. He was a half Negro, half Caucasian guy, like around the time of the Civil War. He was contemporaries with Abraham Lincoln, and he knew guys like Aleister Crowley. In fact, Aleister Crowley derived much of his sex magic from this core text, the Hermetic Brotherhood of Luxor. And he's the one that put together this idea of volantia, decreeism, and posism. The three, the divine trinity, the supernal triad of magic, as it were. So in his system, it's really straightforward. It's a three-step process, right? Number one, you expand your astral temple and cast your magical circle. You just envision your aura, your energy egg, however you like to get that done. And while you're doing that, the volantic step is to empower the triangle of art before you, right? It's the eye and the triangle. It's putting the energy into form, into a tetrahedron. And you do this with calm, consistent, flowing, undisturbed, unperturbed, consistent intention into your desired goal. Then, After you've done this and you feel like the energy's there in the triangle of art, then you decree it into being. You can do this a number of ways. In the Bible, um, like the first line of the Torah, right? In the beginning, the Word was with God, and the Word was God, and all things were spoken into being. And then just it's that abracadabra, right? Putting that word into being. And that's your commanding of it, right? So you have the thought, then you have the spoken thing, and then you have the action, the paucism, the taking. But it's not like a taking like reaching out. It's a taking like to receive, right? The unperturbed receptive state of allowing goals to come to fruition. So that's it right there, man. Do your homework, look it up. Pascal Beverly Randolph. I read a really good article on it, done by like a PhD guy in cultural anthropology. I think he was at San Diego State University, and it was available online a while back. I don't remember where I got it, but yeah, really a good article. I don't know. Other than those two items, I don't know of anybody else who's written extensively on it except for me. I've been exploring this and teaching it and thinking about it for the last 10 years. Fools and Tools is in the house, man. Good magic, everyone. Hope you're doing well. I think I remember you from the past. I've seen you a couple of times around. Maybe you've been in the chat here. I'm going to go ahead and pop the link in there again, guys. I don't know how to pin it, but if anybody wants to chime in and add their 2 cents to the conversation, that would be appreciated. As again, I think the monologue of me just continuing to talk about things can become a little bit odious after a while. In fact, an hour is about the amount of time I feel comfortable being so goddamn blatant in running my mouth. And what does it say here? What does it say? Those who know do not speak, and those who speak do not know. Yeah, so too much talking is not any kind of fun. It's better to back and forth. I will update the channel since we're at the bottom of the first hour and the top hour. I am your grand of Monday. You've got a yen to expand your kin, then let's get zen and talk about it. For some reason, my internet is starting to stall out, guys. Let me see if I can correct that. I might lose connection briefly. Let me see if this works. How's the audio, guys? Are we still transmitting? I think that might have worked. I think it did. 100-day challenge, everyone. We have the Psyonic agent. Make sure you're keeping up with the syllabus. You can find that syllabus with all 100 days spelled out on some little action or practice you can take each day. You can find that over at buymeacoffee.com/Frank Monday. Just check under the posts section of the website. I can't load the website right now because the VPN's not functioning correctly, but yeah. Hit the like button and check back often. I think that's about it then, guys. I don't got a lot going on, man. Just invoke often, right? Inflame yourself with prayer. Whatever prayer you find suitable. I like the adoration of Abraxas. I created it myself out of the Arbitel of Magic. The Abatim, with a little bit of influence from Arthur Edward White and his esoteric Christianity, the forerunners of the Golden Dawn, right? That hermetic brotherhood of magical practices that I so enjoy. And yeah, if there's nothing else going on, let's see. I got a video on dreaming. We might look at it a little bit. It's kind of a fun thing. If you guys are going to stick around and hang out, nobody wants to join me here in Dreamland, then I will. Let me see. How do I find it? Is it on my desktop? Might be. Is someone knocking on my fucking door out there? Are we allowed? Yeah, that works. Let's see how this turns out. We'll do a little commentary on this.
And is a continuum. It does not stop when we lose consciousness here. If we are not conscious here, we are conscious there, whatever there is. I don't pretend to say what that definition of there is, but we are there. So that means very simply, when you go to sleep here, you don't lose consciousness, you just shift along the spectrum of consciousness to another kind of wakefulness.
Yeah, guys. So if I got the link up there once again, guys. If anybody out there in Happy Land would like to join the transmission, let me see. Here it is. Here, it's streamyard.com/3Z863QI. Is that two I's or one? Oh, looks like it's two. Fuck. Yeah. BV. And with no further ado, let's have a little look at this dreaming video. You leave your body.
You leave your body every single night, and no one told you. Not your teachers, not your parents, not the people who claim to know how this world works. They told you sleep is just rest, a passive state.
A biological reset. Is that true? Or is there something more to it? All right.
A biological reset. But what if that's not true? What if, when your eyes close, something ancient awakens?
And I don't understand how it is that like everything these days is just so Lovecraftian. If you've studied Lovecraft deeply, as I have, like so many things in the modern culture are just reiterating things that he said 100 years ago. It's really unbelievable. The Gate of the Silver Key, From Beyond, The Temple, Color Out of Space, The Whisperer in Darkness, The Alchemist, Dagon. So many things, man, are just fucking crazy Lovecraftian these days. In fact, the Y-Files, I don't know if you guys watched the Y-Files or not, but he just released a video earlier today that's absolutely Lovecraftian. God, you got to go watch it. It's so good. I'd pull it up right now and show it to you if my VPN worked, but it doesn't. So sorry about that.
Something that slips from flesh and bone and drifts beyond time, beyond thought, into something so vast that your waking mind can't even hold it. Because deep down, you felt it. That lingering emotion after a dream. The impossible places that felt more real than the ground under your feet. The sense that you've been somewhere else, and maybe, just maybe, you have. This isn't some new age fantasy. It's not just dreams or imagination. There's evidence, history, and science quietly whispering the same thing. Consciousness doesn't sleep, it travels. And the only question left is, where does it go?
All right, so I don't buy into everything on this video that he talks about dreaming. I've done a lot of study of dreamland and dream magic and Beyond the Wall of Sleep, right? The Curious Case of Charles Dexter Ward. What was the Dream series, right? The What of Unknown Kadath. So again, so much of it is Lovecraftian, right? It goes full circle. For some reason, the timeline we're currently on goes full circle back to Howard Phillips Lovecraft over and over and over again. Check out the new Y-Files that dropped with AJ and Hecklefish, man. They are legit. He just dropped a video today that's really interesting and very Lovecraftian, and it might scare you a little. It's pretty kind of frightening, man. So
You've been taught to see sleep as shutdown, like flipping a switch. One moment you're awake, thinking, moving, reacting. The next, darkness, silence, the nothingness before another day begins. That's the lie, because while your body stills, something else accelerates. The brain doesn't turn off during sleep. It becomes highly active. In fact, some areas of your brain light up more during sleep than when you're awake, but not the parts that govern logic, schedules, and order. Those go quiet. Instead, the visual cortex ignites. Emotional centers flare. The mind starts to move in ways it never could during the day. You're no longer just processing, you're experiencing. The question is, what exactly are you experiencing?
Damn good question, right? Tell me about your adventures in dreamland, Wayfarer. What have you been up to? Where have you gone? What have you experienced? Have you encountered strange, otherworldly denizens beyond the veil? Have you seen ghosts and spirits, communicated with dearly beloved ones that have passed into the unknown? Have you gone there and come back? Have you done any work, like with astral travel, with dedicated focus intent to go beyond the threshold and pass through the fog of forgetfulness with complete awareness? There and back. Have you done these things, Wayfarer? Are you interested in learning more about lucid dreaming? Are you interested in the future and having prophetic dreams that can unlock greater spiritual powers to move your journey forward in productive ways that bring you to the ultimate state of being, to the throne of your own empire?
In REM sleep, the stage where dreams are most vivid, your body enters paralysis. Muscles are switched off. You couldn't move even if you wanted to, but internally, everything is alive. It's as if nature is saying, you're not meant to move physically now, you're meant to move elsewhere. Where is this elsewhere? Is it just fantasy? Just the random firing of neurons? That's what we've been told. But the more you look, the less sense that explanation makes. Why would evolution design a nightly experience filled with emotion, narrative, symbolism, and entire realities, just for it to mean nothing?
That's a damn good question, right? Why would that happen? Why that doesn't seem that doesn't seem logical. That doesn't make any kind of sense. Yeah? There's got to be more to it, and there is. There's an entire body of work on mapping dreamland. I've done a lot of work with it, and I think that each individual practitioner kind of has to do their own work and figure out how it goes. I was recently visiting the Esoteric Order of Golden Dawn, which is different from the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn. And on their webpage, they said that they have astral initiations. And when I joined Poke Runyon's OTA, I've told this story quite a few times, I was initiated astrally. I had contacted them, paid the very low fee for their associates program, which gave me the opportunity to communicate directly with Poke Runyon. And therefore, I received the books and DVDs for the basic neophyte initiate. And after having gone through the material and taken he's got a correspondence by email correspondence test that you've got to take, to prove your interest, write an essay, this kind of thing. He invited me to attend the Adonia ceremony of the summer solstice at his retreat, his Wizard's Tower, out in the California mountains in Southern California. And I went, like I made a specific flight to California to do that. And it took me some time, man. I had to set up shop. I had to move in with my sister for a while. I had to get a car. I had to get out there. I had to undergo the initiation, correspond with the guys there, all the magicians. But the crazy thing is, man, 6 months before I went, I received the full initiation, everything in realer than real, super sensual detail before I even went out there. And when I arrived at his retreat 6 months later, I had documented all of this in my journals, and I started telling him exactly what went down. And he's like, "Yeah, you saw it, you've seen it." He said, "Wait until tonight. Wait until tonight. You're going to see the full ritual." And everything that I experienced was absolutely 100% legit, with no foreknowledge of it. Absolutely no foreknowledge of it. And it went down just as I had seen it in Dreamland. Really a wonderful thing, man. Uh, Except for I wasn't able to complete my training into the next grade because I came back to China. And he's a little bit China, 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 right? He wouldn't let me continue in the program as long as I was living in China. He said, "You should move back to LA and become active here socially and, relaunch your career here in Los Angeles." And I didn't make that breakthrough, man. I couldn't do it. It's just everything's geared against a ordinary Caucasian heterosexual these days. Like, if that's your description, if you identify, if you're like a Caucasian and you're male and you're heterosexual, then Southern California has got next to no opportunities for you unless you're already established. If you're old money and your parents bought your house, 50 years ago, and you're living there, with your retired parents or whatever, you've got a pension coming in. You've got maybe a job that pays something, then you're okay. But trying to break into that scene, like, that's where I grew up, man. But all's lost, and it just has an aura of gloomy, fallen grandeur. So yeah, kind of a tough thing, man. And again, I'm just making commentary because you can't play the video straight through without giving some personal notes on it.
And here's where things get strange. Brain scans show the sleeping mind behaves almost identically to the mind under the influence of powerful psychedelics. Substances like DMT, known for unlocking visionary states, spiritual breakthroughs, even contact with otherworldly entities, are also released naturally by your brain. You don't have to smoke anything or attend a ceremony. You simply have to fall asleep. So maybe dreams aren't just mental recycling bins. Maybe they're windows, portals, shifting doorways that allow your consciousness to slip through, untethered from physical form. Some scientists resist this idea, not because of lack of evidence, but because it defies the story they've built around the brain, that it's the origin of consciousness, not just a receiver of it. But growing voices in neuroscience and quantum studies suggest something far more radical. Your mind may exist beyond your brain, and your dreams may be echoes of this deeper truth. It's in these liminal hours, when thought becomes vision and vision becomes experience.
Yeah, liminal spaces. Here's an interesting thing I've encountered recently too. I've been paying more careful attention to transitory thresholds and liminal spaces, and observing the guardians who dwell within those spots, stairwells, hallways, of any other transit points. And I've discovered a few, one that has some particularly eerie energy. And I know that there's a non-Euclidean space there where some entity is lurking, right? The lurker at the threshold. And I'm wondering, like, what he's up to, what type of encounters he's trying to create. And I found out recently that one of the teachers at the academy I work at actually lost a child in this space. And I didn't learn that until after I had already discovered that liminal space had a a dark non-human intelligence dwelling within it, because I'd felt it several times, you know, and I'd make the sign of the elder sign, right? I'd make the elder sign when I passed through it. And just, I think it was yesterday or the day before, one of my colleagues told me, she said, you know, this gal lost an 8-year-old boy. He jumped off the school bus and was hit by a motorcyclist that ran him over, and there was so much brain trauma that he died in the intensive care unit later. He was smacked by this guy on the motorbike coming off a fucking school bus, of all things. And it really blew my mind. I was like, good God, I felt that. So there's a dark entity lurking there in, you know, in the places between spaces, in a liminal vacuum. And he literally, it or whatever, was able to murder a child with that experience. I found it, and I don't know what came first, the chicken or the egg, right? Is it because of that traumatic event that there's some negative astral energy still lingering there, and that's why I felt it? Or is it because there's a dark entity dwelling there, and then it caused that to occur? I gotta dig a little deeper into it and figure out what's going on with that, because that's kind of scary, man.
That the body becomes a shell and something more subtle steps out. You may call it awareness, spirit, soul, or simply you. But it moves, it sees, it remembers things your waking mind has no words for. And what's even more unsettling, this might be the most natural thing about you. What's unnatural is forgetting it. There are some things I can't say here, but we go far deeper inside our free newsletter Insights Academy. You'll even get a digital copy of the Kybalion, but only for a limited time. Links in the description. If you've ever woken up from a dream and felt the sting of leaving somewhere, felt loss or wonder or...
Real quick note there on the Kybalion, guys, definitely worth your examination if you haven't studied it already. It was written anonymously by a group of initiates called the Three Initiates, and it discusses the basic 7 Hermetic principles, right? It starts off, the preamble of the Kybalion, if I can quote it from memory, says that the key of the principles of the master key are 7. He who knows these understandingly, the principles of the universe are 7. He who knows these understandingly possesses the magical key before whose touch all doors of the temple fly open. And it's talking about those 7 hermetic principles of mentalism, correspondence, vibration, rhythm, polarity, gender, and one other, cause and effect, I believe. Yeah. So those are the 7 hermetic principles. So definitely check it out if you get a chance. It's well worth your investment of time and energy.
Or you've already touched this truth. Something in you already knows this world is just one layer. It's the one we're trained to take seriously because it's measurable, physical. But consciousness doesn't care about that. It doesn't need buildings, clocks, or language. It just needs stillness. The body rests, and the door opens. Not outward, but inward. And what lies there is not the absence of awareness. It's the return to it. There's a molecule inside your brain that activates when the lights go out, when your body falls still and your mind begins to drift. It's called DMT, dimethyltryptamine, often referred to as the spirit molecule. It's one of the most powerful psychedelics known to man. When ingested synthetically, it launches people into visions so vivid, so otherworldly, that many return claiming they visited entirely different realms, met entities, and experienced time in ways that defy logic.
Yeah, so you had mentioned here, Fools and Tools, that you lost the gate, you lost the key to the gate of dreaming. And Randolph Carter also lost it in H.P. Lovecraft's story Through the Gates of the Silver Key, right? Randolph Carter. And scientifically, they say that we start dreaming less when we hit our 30s. But Randolph Carter, who had all his life sought to escape from the tedium and limitations of waking reality in the beckoning vista of dreams and fabled avenues of other dimensions, disappeared from the sight of man on the 7th of October, 1928, at the age of 54. Oh God, that's so scary, man. I'm rapidly approaching that date. Welcome to the chat, guys, everyone. This is Caged Reality. Good to see you again.
Yes, brother. What are we talking about now? DMT.
Yeah, dreaming and the what Lovecraft called the Silver Key.
Oh, not the. What about the golden key?
Yeah, in modern parlance, they call it DMT, right? But it's the,
instead of me playing it, so you can pause and I have to run around and fucking pause it. Here, what about this is a guy named David Barlow. You know what I mean? He died.
Okay.
For this shit, and guess what? Now we have it here to play on YouTube. He's my friend. You know what I mean? He's Australian. Yep. And he teaches you how to create that. But why not play it?
Okay, let me check it. I can't play anything. When you load it up, it's able to play. But if I
try me to play it for you, all right.
If I try to play it, it doesn't work because of my VPN and because I'm in China. Everything's kind of blocked.
Were you the one? I can pull it up for you quickly because I'm already here. Hold on.
Were you the one talking about you had lost the key to dreaming?
No, I never talked about that. We were going into Aikido and different martial arts and.
Yeah, no, I remember that yesterday, but I was talking about it in the chat here. Someone was talking about having lost the key to dreaming. Oh, that was Fools and Tools.
Yeah.
So yeah, he says he doesn't dream anymore.
Oh wow! Well, you just don't remember it. So everyone dreams. Yeah.
Right.
So hold on, let me pull up. I gotta pull up Frank Monday. I gotta go to your live, and then I gotta pull up a screen share of how to create this stuff. Right? Why not? Just look how to do it.
Hey, did it yesterday.
Why are we gonna talk about it unless we understand how it works? I'm talking about the DMT.
I don't know much about it, man.
Well, now I know that
I know that Randolph Carter he disappeared with the key to dreaming in the Snake Den outside of Arkham, Massachusetts. Let me know when you find it.
Oh, buddy, I'm going on my laptop so you can see it.
Yeah, take your time. No
it's
worries.
already done pretty much here. So hit that, enter, and then you can leave the other cage back there. The one with no name, you can fuck it off.
Yeah.
But here's the part almost no one talks about. Your body creates this chemical naturally, and it surges during sleep. The pineal gland, long called the seat of the soul by mystics and spiritual.
It's interesting. The pineal gland is in Lovecraft's story.
The Lovecraft.
From Beyond. He wrote a story called From Beyond. And it's a short story, and the entire thing is about the pineal gland and the visions it creates. Hold on, I gotta remove this one from the stage. All right, and then I gotta add this one. Now, this isn't proprietary material, right?
No, this is given to everybody that could pay attention.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we can watch it.
Like I told you last time, you never no issue, right?
Yeah. No, nothing happened. That's good magic. I just like to be careful.
Yeah, like it won't let me full screen. I don't know why, but whatever.
I could do full
Oh, there
screen
we
like
go.
this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you. Good magic.
I shall demonstrate how to extract DMT from Mers hostilis root bark, and then how to prepare a fumarate salt from the freebase. I shall also discuss the medicinal properties of DMT, more specifically how it can treat chest infections. Using boiled root bark of Mers hostilis is very nauseating as it contains other ingredients, so it's best to extract the DMT first and then convert it to fumarate salt, as this has less side effects.
Where do you get the root bark?
We need to obtain some powdered root bark, as solid bark is very difficult to process, as it
There's many wholesalers that usually comes from South America. They actually grows indigenously in all Americas and all around the world. So simply, like here, like if I share this tab, I'd be like, okay, mimosa hostilis.
So you could just order it online?
You just get it anywhere, really. Or you can pick it from the tree. It's a root bar. Okay, so here, mimosa hostilis root, right? Okay, and look, there it is.
Oh, wow.
Look, there's an American one. A flag. So here we go back to it.
There are other plants that contain DMT. It's mainly present in the green leaves or stems, and the chlorophyll makes extraction very difficult as it is soluble in the non-polar layer. We'll be using deionized water here. You can buy this any motor factor. It's also useful for diluting antifreeze, as the modern organic acid antifreezes maintain their anti-corrosion properties far longer with deionized water. If we were to use tap water for the extraction, we would need to add a larger quantity of caustic soda to achieve the same alkalinity. But tap water varies in its hardness from area to area, so for a consistent result, it's best to use deionized water.
Okay. Safety first. That's
Safety
good.
first, always.
First of all, safety. Caustic soda is very dangerous as it can cause loss of sight. We must wear protective goggles at all times when handling it or shaking solutions of it, and ideally wear rubber gloves. It's also advisable to have a cup of water handy, full to the brim, to rinse one's eyes just in case. Always add caustic soda to water, not the other way around. The vessel will need agitation as it forms lumps which can get very hot. I prefer to use a stirrer rather than shaking it. For convenience, I'll use a pint of vinegar bottle as we're using small quantities, although ideally a borosilicate flask should be used as these are heat resistant. For the non-polar solvent, I prefer to use naphtha, which is available as lighter fluid. This is highly flammable and can be abused as an inhalant, so care is needed. You probably need a couple of tins, so it's best to buy them at different places to avoid questions. To avoid fumes, place it in a freezer for an hour beforehand. The top is removed with pliers and the contents poured into a jar. Wear gloves when pouring it, as it's bad for the skin. The jar should be labelled naphtha and stored in the freezer before use to avoid fumes. An alternative to naphtha is heptane, which can be ordered and has similar properties. DMT is more soluble in naphtha, although heptane is more selective. So once an initial extraction has been done in naphtha, a further extraction can be made in heptane to obtain a purer product.
There we go.
This root bark is rather fibrous, even though I've put it into a coffee grinder. Finely powdered root bark can be funneled straight in, although this is too rough, so I've soaked it in a jar with caustic soda, left it overnight and then funneled it into the vinegar bottle. As I mentioned, goggles must be worn when pouring the solution in case of splashes. You will also need to wear a dust mask when handling powdered root bark. Here I have used 300 ml deionized water, 6 grams caustic soda and 30 grams of root bark. After adding naphtha and shaking, I will use magnetic stirring to resolve the emulsion using a 50mm stir bar. This one is triangular in shape. You can use a magnet on the outside of the bottle to retrieve the stir bar. So the ratio of water to root bark is 10:1, and the ratio of root bark to caustic soda is 5:1. If the ratio of water to root bark is much less than 10:1, it will not be possible to magnetically stir it. I have used 6:1 in these Erlenmeyer flasks by using a 75mm stir bar. The quantity of naphtha added should be at least 10% of the volume of basified root bark. It may be necessary to invert the vinegar bottle before it will stir as sludge collects at the bottom. The bottle should be heated before shaking, as DMT is more soluble in warm naphtha. Hand hot or up to 50 degrees Celsius is fine. If you don't have a magnetic stirrer with a hot plate, then the bottle can be stood in a basin of warm water. For safety, the cap should be removed and replaced with cling film and sealed with a rubber band, because this will avoid any pressure buildup.
Oh, okay.
The bottle has now been warmed on the hot plate stirrer, although stirring alone is not sufficient to move the DMT from the aqueous layer into the non-polar layer. So we need to shake it. First of all, I will remove the cling film and replace the cap. And we then need to loosen the cap between shakes to release any pressure. We now replace it on the hot plate stirrer to resolve the emulsion. The emulsion has now resolved, so we can separate off the naphtha from the aqueous layer into our dish. We will try and keep it covered as much as possible to reduce evaporation while we're transferring it.
Yeah, this is interesting information here.
Oh, yeah.
Is this legal? Like, can anyone do this?
Well, it depends where you're at.
Yeah, I guess so, huh? Have you done this before?
I want to deny her. What his method works. You know, I won't confirm or deny that. But either way, you got to check your local law.
Yeah, certainly. No legal advice on this channel.
Layer, you begin to draw up some of the aqueous phase, which is difficult to separate. You can put it into a McCartney bottle, and it's much easier to separate them because it's narrower. So we can drop some of that back in, but we can't separate it absolutely.
This straight old school alchemy right here, huh?
Yes, sir. Yeah, it's that easy, huh?
Yeah.
And if there's impurities in the dish, we can tip the naphtha to one corner very, very slowly. And you can wipe the spots off the dish. The naphtha is then frozen to precipitate out the free-base DMT. We've also put our scrapings from the dish into the freezer as well, as it deteriorates if it's not kept frozen.
Recycling the naphtha?
Naphtha.
Okay, so we've left the dish in the freezer overnight.
Something called freeze crystallization.
And we're now going to put the naphtha back into the bottle. Using a coffee baster.
This guy's British, huh?
So just tip it into the corner.
Australian.
Oh, he's Australian. Basically British, right?
And they got exiled to Australia with the roos and the koalas.
Yeah.
For the last bit, you can use a pipette. It's a little bit tricky for the last bit.
I guess they got polar bears and fucking maple syrup out here.
How are they doing over there in jolly old England with the, what is it, King Edward now? Is he the guy in charge?
I have no fucking idea.
Oh, okay. You don't keep up with it, huh?
I don't keep up with any of that. I don't even know who's running for whatever in here. You know, I don't care. I never voted in my life. Never will.
Well, no, he's a king, so
quite
he's
get
just succession, right? His mother died, Queen Victoria, and so he just automatically became Lord and King. It's hereditary succession. Go ahead.
Fuck off.
Play the video.
And we do this process normally 3 times.
Repeat extraction 3 times. Yeah, 3's a charm.
And this will go back onto the hot plate and stir. And we can rest this upside down to drain it, anything left in there.
Recovering the precipitate.
Okay, so the naphtha has now evaporated, and the residue here is free-base DMT. And we will scrape this up with a single-sided razor blade.
Did he say free-based DMT?
Yeah, and you know, that's the stuff that gets smoke, right? But
Yeah,
he also shows you how to create it into something that you can take edibly without an MAOI inhibitor.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, and it helps a lot with like sicknesses and flus and all that. Yeah.
This can be kept in the fridge, and we will repeat the process 3 times.
Yeah, this guy knows what he's doing. So what's the dosage of something like this?
Fuck all. It's in like like 50 micrograms
Oh wow.
or a milligram. Like a half a 0.1. That
Wow.
one, you're done. But edibly, you need to take it like probably like 150.
It's really powerful stuff, huh?
It's fuck all.
We've made an initial extraction from the root bark with naphtha, and we're now redissolving our scrapings in heptane using a 20mm capsule-shaped stir bar. And this is a more selective solvent, and it should removal of the impurity. Once again, it should be hand hot.
It sounds muted. He's still talking? Okay.
No.
Yeah, I can hear him now.
And there's quite a bit of sediment left behind there.
He's just knocking the shit out in his kitchen.
Put it in the freezer to precipitate out the free-base DMT.
Fumarate.
If we wish to use DMT orally after an MAOI, it's best to use DMT fumarate, as this is water soluble and causes less gastrointestinal disturbance. To produce DMT fumarate, we dissolve DMT free base in acetone, fumaric acid in acetone, and when they're both dissolved, mix them together, which will cause the DMT fumarate to come out of solution. The beauty of this method is that any excess fumaric acid will remain dissolved in acetone, even when frozen. Acetone tends to absorb moisture from the atmosphere, so to dry it we can use Epsom salts, which we buy from the chemist, baked in an oven at 200 Celsius, and which will produce a white cake, which is then ground using a mortar and pestle and funneled into a vinegar bottle. The acetone is then added to the bottle, sealed and magnetically stirred. We then filter off the acetone into a second bottle and seal it. For each gram of free-base DMT, we add 50 ml of acetone, and in the second solution, we add 310 milligrams of fumaric acid to 50 ml of acetone. They're both sealed again with cling film and a rubber band, magnetically stirred and heated to dissolve them. Okay, we've now mixed the DMT solution with the fumaric acid solution, and as you can see, it's clouded straight away. And we're now going to pour it into our dish so we can eventually scrape it out. So first we remove the magnet. It's best to swirl this around in order to get all the sediment out. We may have to add more acetone if it doesn't all come out in one go. A little bit left in there so we can wash it out with, rinse it out with more acetone. Careful not to get acetone on any plastics like scales and so on, because it will damage the plastic.
Yeah, it's highly corrosive, right, to plastics.
Depends.
So we got it. And we put this in the freezer. Leave it a few hours and then decant off the acetone and scrape out the DMT fumarate. DMT fumarate is chemically stable and can be stored without refrigeration.
Nice.
Now, regarding the medicinal effects of DMT, I have chronic asthma, which I've suffered from since 1975, and which makes me more susceptible to chest infections in cold or damp weather. Now, usually if I get a chest infection, I would take a week's course of oxytetracycline and it would clear Unfortunately, in the time it takes to work, my asthma gets far worse, and I then have to take additional oral steroids, which are very undesirable because of the immune reaction to the infection. Now, by experimentation, I've found if I take an oral dose of DMT fumarate in an enteric-coated capsule, which stops stomach irritation, I take 150 milligrams of fumarate. I then pre-dose with moclobemide, 150 milligrams, and that will shift a chest infection within a few hours, and I don't need any antibiotics at all or additional steroids. I've also found DMT to be effective with influenza infections. I've no idea how it works, although I would surmise that it causes dehydration because I pass a lot of water after I've taken it, even though I drink liquid, and I also get foot cramps, which is a symptom of dehydration. And generally speaking, dehydration generally tends to kill bacteria, so I can only surmise that it's causing the lung tissue to dry out and therefore overcome the infection. But if you're going to use this yourself, you need to note the dangerous drug interactions with moclobemide, which you'll find on my webpage.
Nice, yeah. Good stuff. So he's essentially like expelling excessive dampness in the lungs. Good magic. I can appreciate that. Now, will this formulation of DMT, will it induce the hallucinogenic properties of like deep lucid dreaming states?
Oh, buddy, you don't even want to fucking be there.
You just got to try it out, huh? Experiment.
Well, yeah, if you want something done right, you better do it yourself. But yeah, the ratios the guy gives is on point.
Okay, yeah, I'm not familiar with that type of alchemy. The last time I engaged in that type of thing, we were inoculating rye grain with lysergic acid, and
Bro, there's websites out here, they sell it. Okay, over here, Frank, they have like 1 million like psychedelic dispensaries. No one gives a fuck. It's illegal, yet they sell that shit, and they sell DMT for like $350 a gram.
right. Well, I know in the U.S. because I'm from California. Like technically, it's not illegal or criminalized, but the like the interstate transportation of it, or like the person-to-person
If
selling
if it's outside of personal use, then yeah.
right, yeah, you can make it and use it yourself, but you can't sell it to anyone, and that's how they try to entrap you, right? Fools and Tools says that he's tried it, but he still can't dream. So I'm thinking that you lost the key to the gate of dreaming, Fools and Tools. If you check out here, let me see here. Not sure if I can share my screen.
I'm gonna be back, Frank. Thank you for having me.
Okay. Yeah, thank you for that. Good magic, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, wonderful little share there by Caged Reality. Once again, like Finnegan, coming at you with the yen to expand your kin. So he was getting zen with us there, right there, baby. Good magic. Let's see, we've got it here. Add to the stage. I'm not sure if this is gonna work, man. It doesn't say before presenting. Please remove the previous ad, and then bam. That seems to work. Yeah. So right here it says that Swami Chandraputra had a memory sketch of some of those letters and a photostatic copy of Cartman's parchment. But the key, Carter sent me a photograph of that. Here's the key to dreaming right here, man. Its curious arabesques were not letters, but seemed to have belonged to the same cultural tradition as the hieroglyphs on the parchment. Carter always spoke of being on the point of solving the mystery, though he never gave details. Once he grew almost poetic about the whole business. That antique silver key, he said, would unlock the successive doors of dreaming that bar our free march down the mighty corridors of space and time to the very border which no man has crossed since Shaddai and his terrific genius built and concealed the sands of Arabia Petrea, the prodigious domes and uncounted minarets of thousand-pillared Iram. The key, he surmised, was that for which the cyclopean sculptured hand vainly grasps. As Demarani paused, old Mr. Phillips spoke in a harsh, shrill voice. We can know Randolph Carter's wandering only what we dream. I have been to many strange places in dreams, and have heard many strange and significant things in Ulta beyond the river sky. It does not appear that the spotsment was needed, for certainly Carter re-entered the world of his boyhood dreams and is now a king in Ilekvad. Mr. Aspinwall grew doubly apoplectic looking as he sputtered, Can't somebody shut the old fool up? We've had enough of these moonings. The problem is to divide the property, and it's about time we got to it. Yeah, so it was on the 7th of October, 4 years ago. Fools and tools, you will be able to dream again, my friend. All you need do is study. Here it is here. The hills behind Arkham are full of strange magic, something perhaps which the old wizard Edmund Carter called down from the stars and up from the crypts of Nether Earth when he fled there from Salem in 1692. As soon as Randolph Carter was back among them, he knew that he was close to one of the gates, which a few audacious, abhorred, and alien-souled men have blasted through Titan walls betwixt the world and the outside absolute. That's it right there, man. That's what you're looking for. That's the magic, man. You can find it here in the gates of the Silver Key. So the big question is, what needs to be done? How can you return beyond the gates of dreaming? So let's crank up this a little bit. Yeah, there's there. You hear that bumping music? Let's get it. In English. Yeah, I hear you. He could carry out the successive messages he had deciphered months before from the arabesques of that tarnished and incredibly ancient silver key. He knew now how it must be rotated, how it must be held up to the setting sun, and what syllables of ceremony must be intoned into the void at the 9th and last turning. So what is he talking about there? What is he? Oops, my bad. What is he making an allusion to, right? This is really good magic here. Let me break it down for you a little bit. Where's that? Okay, it's right there. Is that where it's at? Okay, so it must be rotated and how it must be held up to the setting sun, right? This is the distillation process here, right? the evaporation, calcination. What syllables must be intoned into the void at the ninth and last turning? Why is the ninth and last turning, right? Yasod. Yasod is the silver key. It's the gate to dreaming before you come back into the prime material plane. It's the ninth sphere down the tree of life, the ninth Sephiroth, the foundation. In a spot as close to a dark polarity and induced gate as this, it could not fail in its primary function. Certainly he would rest that night in the lost boyhood for which he had never ceased to mourn. Here's the story of the ritual right here, man. Right here in this paragraph. He got out of the car with the key in his pocket, walking uphill deeper and deeper into relaxation. Take a deep breath. Hold for a moment, exhale gently, and command yourself to relax. Go deeper and deeper into the shadowy core of that brooding, haunted countryside of winding road, vine-grown stone wall, black woodland, gnarled, neglected orchard, gaping windowed, deserted farmhouse, and nameless ruin. At the sunset hour, when the distant spires of Kingsport gleamed in the ruddy blaze, he took out the key and made the needed turnings and intonations. Only later did he realize how soon the ritual had taken effect. So here's the thing, man. Fools and tools. Once you start looking into the abyss starts looking back at you. So the big question, because you don't dream anymore, is it because you don't want to dream? Or because you don't dream, right? You gotta look deeply, man. Here we go. Then in the deepening twilight, he had heard a voice out of the past. Old Benijah Corey, his great uncle's hired man. Had not old Benijah been dead for 30 years? 30 years before when? What was time? Where had he been? Why was it strange that Benijah should be calling him on this 7th of October, 1883? Okay, so 1883, what does that tell you? If you do the double addition with basic gematria, you get 9 and 11. What is the 9-11 connection? Right? Yeah, so have I, man. I've been resuscitated on the operating table 3 times. Yeah, the void is the void. Yeah, I don't know. You don't have to dream, man. I like doing dream magic. I like dreamland. I like talking about it. I like thinking about it. I like good magic. So the 9 represents the sphere of Yesod, and the 11 is the sphere of Da'ath. So this shows you that 9 is the gateway to 11, to the 11th sphere, the hypothetical sphere on the hypothetical tree of life, the abracadabra. Here's an interesting set of things here. What was this key in his blouse pocket? Where was his little telescope given to him by his father on his 9th birthday? 2 months before ought to be. Had he found it in the attic at home, would it unlock the mystic pylon which his sharp eye had traced amidst the jagged rocks at the back of the inner cave behind the snake den on the hill? That was the place that always coupled with old Edmund Carter the wizard. People wouldn't go there, and nobody but him had ever noticed or squirmed through the root-choked fissure to that great black inner chamber with the pylon. Yeah, so right here, right? Right there. Fools and tools, people wouldn't go there, right? That evening, little Randolph ate supper with Uncle Chris and Aunt Martha in the old gambrel-roofed farmhouse. Next morning, he was up early and through the twisted-bowed apple orchard and up to the upper timber lot where the mouth of the snake dam lurked black and foreboding amidst the grotesque, overnourished oaks. A nameless expectancy was upon him, and he did not even notice the loss of his handkerchief as he fumbled in his blouse pocket to see if the queer silver key was safe. He knew only that he wished to cross the barrier to the untrammeled land of his dreams and the gulfs where all dimensions dissolve into the absolute. This is powerful shit right here, man. Super fucking high caliber. Lovecraft. What happened then is scarcely to be described in words. It is full of those paradoxes, contradictions, and anomalies which have no place in waking life, but which fill our more fantastic dreams and are taken as matters of course till we return to our narrow, rigid, objective world of limited causation and tri-dimensional logic. As the Hindu continued his tale, he had difficulty in avoiding what seemed even more than the notion of a man transferred through the years to boyhood, an air of trivial, puerile extravagance. Mr. Aspinwald, in disgust, gave an apoplectic snort and virtually stopped listening. For the rite of the silver key as practiced by Randolph Carter in that black haunted cave within a cave did not prove unavailing. From the first gesture and syllable, an aura of strange, awesome mutation was apparent, a sense of incalculable disturbance and confusion in time and space, yet one which held no hint of what we recognize as motion and duration. Imperceptibly, such things as age and location ceased to have any significance whatever. The day before, Randolph Carter had miraculously leaped a gulf of years. Now there was no distinction between boy and man. There was only the entity Randolph Carter, with a certain store of images which had lost all connection with terrestrial scenes and circumstances of acquisition. A moment before, there had been an inner cave with vague suggestions of a monstrous arc and a gigantic sculpted hand on the farther wall. Now there was neither cave nor absence of cave, neither wall nor absence of wall. There was only a flux of impressions, not so much visual as cerebral, amidst which the entity that was Randolph Carter experienced perceptions or registrations of all that his mind revolved on, yet without any clear consciousness of the way in which he received them. Yes, indeed. Let's dive deep into the shadows of Lovecraftian lore. The silver key, known as DMT to some, To some, it's the mercurial agent of the astral realm. To others, it might be the flash of lightning in a stormy sky. It could be any number of things. It's the electricity that invigorated Nikola Tesla to let mankind know that we can derive pure energy from the aether, right? He's one of the greatest scientists that brought about that discovery of that ancient and elusive form of energy, which is permeant throughout our entire cosmos, an abundance of cosmic voltage waiting for mankind to only tap into it. Right? It's really good magic, man. Really good magic. Let me update the channel, guys, because we're at the quarter past the second hour. So I need to get the blurbs in. Your Grand Wizard of the Esoteric Order of Dagon, Fishy Folk, old Frank Monday, coming at you once again like Finnegan, because I've got a yen to expand my kin. So I want to get zen with you guys tonight, man. Quick shout out to Frater Sal Smith, Adeptus Exemptus. Good looking out, brother. Appreciate the gift of the heart over there at buymeacoffee.com/Frank Monday. Make sure you guys hit the likes and subscribe, all that happy horse shit that keeps the 100-day challenge moving forward, man. We're going deep into the shadows of the psionic agents tonight, guys. So let's get back into it. We've got some ideas out there in Happy Land. It's always been here. Yes, it has, man. Let's get into this good magic here. By the time the rite was over, old Randolph Carter knew that he was in no region whose place could be told by the Earth's geographers, and in no age whose date could fix. For the nature of what was happening was not wholly unfamiliar to him. There were hints of it in the cryptical Nakadic fragments, and a whole chapter in the forbidden Necronomicon of the mad Arab Abdul ad-Hazarad had taken on significance when he had deciphered the designs graven on the arabesque silver key. A gate had been unlocked, not indeed the ultimate gate, but one leading from Earth and time to that extension of Earth which is outside of time, and from which in turn the ultimate gate leads fearsomely and perilously to the last void, which is outside all Earths, all universes, and all matter. Next up, guys, the guardian at the threshold, the lurker in the non-Euclidean spaces beyond time and space. Make sure you guys are still tuned in, keeping up with the transmission through the gates of the Silver Key. There would be a guide, a very terrible one, a guide who had been an entity of Earth millions of years before, when man was undreamed of, and when forgotten shapes moved on a steaming planet, building strange cities among whose last crumbling ruins the earliest mammals were to play. Carter remembered what the monstrous Necronomicon had vaguely and disconcertingly adumbrated concerning the gate. And while there are those, the mad Arab had written, who have dared to seek glimpses beyond the veil and to accept him as a guide, they would have been more prudent had they avoided commerce with him. For it is written in the book of Tahuti how terrific a price it is to pay for a single glimpse at the book of life. Nor may those who pass ever return, for in the vastnesses transcending our world are shapes of darkness that seize and bind. The affair that shambleth about in the night, the evil that defieth the elder sign, the herd that stand watch at the secret portal each tomb is known to have, and that thrive on that which groweth out of the tenants within. All these blacknesses are lesser than he who guardeth the gateway. Karanzon 333. He will guide the rash one beyond all worlds into the abyss of unnameable devourers, for he is Umar Atawil, the most ancient one, which the scribe rendereth as the prolonged of life. Wow, that's a powerful paragraph right there, guys. I don't know if you fucking get it, man. I don't know if you fully get it. If you get it, you got it. And if you get it and you got it, then good. But if not, man, it's all fucking Greek to most people, right? It's like earlier when I said this simple sentence here in Chinese. Let me see if I can find it, right? Does that mean anything to you right there? Can you read that? 就要功夫深，铁杵谋长针。 So that's the silver key, guys. That's through the gates of the silver key. It's got a lot of powerful magic in it. I mean, when we get down into the ninth sphere of Yasod, like really some powerful imagery going through here, right? A cloudy pageantry of shapes and scenes. Let me get down to where the hideous Necronomicon had taught him to make. He's got the Necronomicon, the Book of Thoth. Yeah, here's a really good part right here. Let me share this with you. If you're still there, if you're there, always been here, good man. Yeah, if you're there. You're a Greek Australian. Yeah, I think I remember that, man. I remember you mentioning that. Good magic. Wow, 10 o'clock, guys. 10 p.m. here in Beijing. I gotta roll off into the abodes of dreamland here in a second, man. Let me finish up a couple of more paragraphs for you guys, man, because I really appreciate you tuning in. It's good magic to have you guys out there in Happy Land listening to the transmission. I am indeed the most ancient one, said the guide, of whom you know. We have waited for you, the ancient ones and I. You are welcome, even though long delayed. You have the key, and you have unlocked the first gate. Now, the ultimate gate is ready for your trial. If you fear, you need not advance. You may still go back unharmed the way you came, but if you choose to advance, the ominous pause. The pause was ominous, but the radiations continued to be friendly. Carter hesitated. Not a moment, for a burning curiosity drove him on. I will advance, he radiated back, and I accept you as my guide. At this reply, the guide seemed to make a sign by certain motions of his robe, which may or may not have involved the lifting of an arm or some homologous member. A second sign followed, and from his well-learnt lore, Carter knew that he was at the very close to the ultimate gate. The light now changed to another inexplicable color, and the shapes on the quasi-hexagonal pedestals became more clearly defined. As they sat more erect, their outlines became more like those of men, though Carter knew that they could not be men. Upon their cloaked heads there now seemed to rest tall, uncertainly colored mitres, strangely suggestive of those of certain nameless figures chiseled by a forgotten sculptor along the living cliffs of a high and forbidden mountain in Tartary. Do you guys know that location where those forgotten sculptors are chiseled along the living cliffs of that forbidden mountain in Tartary? That's right here, man, right outside of Beijing. It's called Datong, and it's the grottos of Datong. I'm like fucking. I could drive there tonight and go to this place where he's talking about. I'm living in the ancient homeland of Tartary, guys, Tartaria, right here, while grasped in certain folds of their swathing, with long scepters whose carven heads bodied forth a grotesque and archaic mystery. Here he makes the correct obsequies, right? We salute you, most ancient one. And you, Randolph Carter, whose daring has made you one of us. Carter saw now that one of the pedestals was vacant, and a gesture of the most ancient one told him it was reserved for him. He saw also another pedestal taller than the rest, and at the center of that oddly curved, neither semicircle nor ellipse, parabola nor hyperbola, which they formed. This, he guessed, was the guide's own throne. Moving and rising, which in a manner which hardly definable, Carter took his seat. And as he did so, the guide had likewise seated himself. Yeah, that's good magic right there, guys. I'm not going to get too deep into it because I'm running out of time for this evening, right? Time and space and the light has shifted. The shadows envelop me as I once again head off into dreamland, to the 1,000-tiered city of Iram. Yes, indeed, man. So let me get a shout out to everyone that journeyed by and enjoyed this transmission of the Dreamland archives, right? The Chronicles of Dreamland. Maybe you too have sat upon the crystal throne and been king in Ilakvad. Maybe in the future you will do so again, right? Fools and tools, good looking out, man. I appreciate that. Godspeed to you. Safe travels. Let's see who else was here. Caged Reality, shout out to you, amigo. Thanks for stopping by. Ricardo Sunshine, good to see you again. Amigo, Mary at Sea Level, good to see you, beloved. The beloved astrologer. Some of the questions I wanted to include in today's show, right? Your personal experience with rituals. Why do you find them meaningful? What are the elements you include? How do you articulate your magical incantations? What ritual gestures and gesticulations do you take to make your big magic happen? How do you incorporate the stage of Possism into your rituals? So on and so forth, right? Let me run down the show a little bit, guys. I'll roll that music back just a little bit. Once again, guys, like Finnegan, to expand your ken, let's have a yen to get zen. Grand Wizard of the Esoteric Order of Dagon, friend and well-wisher Frank Bundy coming at you with an installment on the 100-day challenge, Way of the Psyonic Agent. Right? Karanzan, Guardian at the Threshold, 333. Right? 333. What's that mean? It means 3 cycles of 33 days, which gets you to 99. That's the 100-day challenge. 4 seasons of 25 each. All right, 28 and a quarter day cycles. It all adds up. So get your 33rd degree on 3 times and join me in the 100-day challenge. Guys, make sure you hit the like button. I really appreciate that. If you get a chance, you can go check out the 100-day challenge syllabus over at buymeacoffee.com/Frank Monday. That helps out the channel, guys. You can put a little something in the tip jar if you want. You don't have to. All the information over there pretty much is free. You just got to go check it out. I will sign off tonight as per usual with the invocation of total integration by the Universal Society of the Integral Way by the Grand Master of Tao, Master Nihua Qing of Yosan University in Santa Monica, California. It's where I learned this invocation from him. And it goes a little something like this. Say it with me if you know it. Heaven and earth are the spontaneous manifestations of a subtle, wondrous, universal law. As the original oneness expresses itself, gross and subtle energies become distinctly divided. Our bodily caves are brightly illuminated by the mysterious light from the 3 Dantian bridge points leading to immortality. And really short to break form in the invocation, those 3 Dantian are the infernal Dantian, the terrestrial Dantian, and the celestial Dantian. The lower infernal Dantian contains the first of the 3 holy guardian angels, the little demon, right? The terrestrial Dantian or center Dantian, the heart center chakra, contains the Christ consciousness, or the second of the 3 holy guardian angels in our system, in here at the esoteric order of Dagon. And the third uppermost Dantian, right? The third eye Dantian is where you manifest the triangle of art. And it contains the true HGA, your holy guardian angel. 3 Dantians, bridge points leading to immortality. The powerful spirits of the 8 directions conjoin our being with the true origin of life. By the absolute order of the divine Ling Bao in the highest 9th heaven, send the positive energies of Qianluo, Danna, Dunkan, and Taishuan to destroy our spiritual obstacles and debilitate any evil influence. This order is given by the highest sovereignty. It is a jade oracle from the subtle origin. I invoke with strong sincerity to drive away the demons and evils and lengthen my healthy years. The attained spirits respond. The evil demon king, Mo Wang, is chained to stand as our guard and servant. The powerful atmosphere has been generated, dispersing all negativity. The Qi of Tao is everlasting. So it is commanded and confirmed. So mote it be. Amen. Ra. Yeah, it's good magic, guys. Remember, O neophyte, goodness alone is power. Silence is strength. Will regaineth omnipotence. And love lieth at the foundation. Love is the law. Love under will. Do what thou will is the whole of the law. Invoke often, everyone. Inflame yourself with prayer. Until next time, ad astra, prospera, and keep doing good magic. Bye for now.